Welcome back to Bullet Basics. Today we've got an awesome video planned. As you saw in the thumbnail, we called 50 gun stores and we asked them, what is your top selling concealed carry gun or guns? And we collected the information, we compiled it, we looked at it, and we've got it. Now, you may think you know what it is, and you may be right. So put your guesses down below in the comments. I'd love to hear before you get to it. We're going to talk about it kind of at the end of the video. We're going to talk about some of the ones that are very popular right now, but I wouldn't consider the top, and definitely weren't cited as the top as we call these gun stores. Also, kind of a tidbit, we're going to come out with a video after this one here in a couple of days that is going to talk about some of the reasons that you can't find guns, ammo, all that right now. There are some reasons that you may already know. Some of us, they're very intuitive, but some reasons people don't realize and they don't understand. And so when we were talking to all those gun stores, they were actually explaining all this kind of stuff. So we got some extra information for you too. We'll link that up here when that is out. This test wasn't exactly scientific, right? We didn't call all the gun stores and get all the information. We think we did get a pretty good sample though, as we called 50 all across the nation in probably, I don't know that we covered all the states, but we got pretty much, I'd say 40 of the 50 states, including New York and California and some of the more restrictive states. And so we got good information. We're really excited to share it with you. Let's start first though with some of the most popular that aren't the top. Right, we're gonna split it into a couple. We probably got 4 that I would consider were the very, very top. We'll talk about those last, and then the crowning jewel, the one that was definitely the most popular by far on everybody's list that we ever called, besides 1 or 2. Before that, let's get into some of the most popular that we heard quite often, but not every single call. So one that I was somewhat surprised to learn about, but not all that surprised because of the price point, was the Taurus PT111, G2C, G3C, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, those are different generations, and so the G3C, I think, just came out recently. The G2C has been out for a few years, and the PT111 has been out for a long time. But all 3 of those were cited kind of side by side all the time. And I think the major reason that that's such a big seller is because of the price point. It's a good, high-capacity, high-quality gun that seems to work. Now, it has had some issues. I know, at least in the PT111, there have been that safety blade in the middle of the trigger tends to break some, and some other issues like that. But generally speaking, they're very reliable, they're very good, very low price for the quality that you're getting, and so that was highly cited as one of them. Okay, so another one I would say is the Walther PPS M2, I think is what it is. That one was cited in a number of calls. I would say at least a dozen, more than a dozen calls probably, where they said, look, this is a great gun, people are asking for this one a lot. It's got a great trigger. It's a Walther, so it's a premium quality gun. It's small, compact. I think it's 7+1 in a flat base plate magazine. Just a high quality, overall great gun. For the next one, we're going to move over to Ruger. The Ruger, so this was kind of intercaliber. We're talking the LCP, which is a 380, and then the LC9, which is a 9mm. And so this one was highly, again, I think this is due to price point. It's a less expensive gun, and therefore it's more popular for people that are on a budget, or just people that don't want to go out and buy a $500 gun because they don't see themselves using it for many situations. And so very, very popular. Still not the top, but very good gun. Another one that I wanted to note, I don't know that this is all that popular. I heard it in 1 or 2 calls. One specifically that I can remember was the Ruger SR22. And I was going back and forth with the guy on the phone there, and he was saying, yeah, man, we sell so many of these. All the time we're selling these. And I asked him, so for concealed carry, people are buying it? He said, oh yeah, definitely, all the time. And so that was an interesting one. I don't know that I would say that was a concealed carry gun. Obviously, you can carry any gun and it will work. It'll be great. But I personally wouldn't care to carry a rimfire gun. It's just the way I am. But he said he sells a bunch of them, and so it's a very popular gun in its own right. But he said that he sells them for in the concealed carry market. Which, by the way, that one was in Vermont. That was interesting because I didn't know how easy it was to carry guns there. The guy was saying that, look, you don't even need a permit, you don't need anything like that. Vermont's a very free state, which is awesome. So those of you in Vermont, this is a shout out to you guys. If you're watching this video from Vermont, you know you have to subscribe, and if you do, comment down below. Let me know that you are from Vermont. I was actually surprised to find out that it's so easy to conceal carry there. You don't even have to go get a permit, according to the guy on the phone. Obviously, I'm not the expert there. So go Vermont. So the last one that I would say, and this one kind of melds into a bunch of them, but the last one I would say is the Glock 19. That was a big one that was cited in quite a few calls where people were like, yeah, Glock 19 is a big seller for us in the concealed carry market, which for me was not all that surprising because Glock is very popular and the Glock 19 specifically is very popular. But it's just such a big gun. I just would never carry a gun that big concealed anyway. But it is a very popular one. People buy it and conceal carry it all the time. And so it definitely should be mentioned. And that actually brings me into another point that it was really interesting to hear when I talked to people that there were some gun stores that would lean hard on the bigger guns, whereas other ones just said, yeah, these are our top selling guns. Where some were like Glock 17, Glock 19, Smith & Wesson MP9, CZP-10C, all these kind of somewhat larger guns. And so I don't know why. I don't know if it was a commission thing or what, but they were definitely leaning toward bigger guns and saying it's not even worth carrying the other ones. So take that for what it's worth. But the Glock 19, I would say, is the top in the larger guns. Obviously, there were guys pointing us toward the smaller guns as well, right? 380s, pocket guns, stuff like that. And I wouldn't say they're pushing. That's not the right way to say it. They're really just saying, hey, look, these are some popular ones too. Go this way or that way. Obviously, there were some shops that were saying, no, you got to go this way, but it is what it is. For the most part, shops were just saying, look, it really depends, right? The same spiel that you always get is it depends on this, this, and this, which we all know, but really, really interesting. Okay, so now it's time to get into the 4 most popular concealed carry guns in all the 50 calls that we made. These 4 showed up in at least, well, I would say 2 of these guns showed up in almost every single call. I would say 45 out of the 50 calls. And then the other 2 showed up in maybe 40 out of the 50 calls. And so we'll go backwards from the 4th most popular to the most popular. So I would say, it's hard to say honestly, but I would say the 4th most popular gun, concealed carry gun in the nation right now is the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. Now there's definitely different variants and there's different models as far as the 1.0, the 2.0, that kind of thing. But the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield was definitely on almost every single call we made. People were like, oh my gosh, man, we can't get enough of those in because people are just buying them up, eating them up like crazy. And so obviously it's a great gun, especially a 2.0 with some upgrades like a better grip and things like that. It's just an awesome gun. It's got a proven track record. It has been out for a long time, years and years and years. And people just tend to love this gun. I own one of these guns. It's really awesome. Obviously there's some others, but that is one that you just can't go wrong with if you buy it. It's going to work. It's going to hold 7+1 rounds in a flat base plate magazine, which is kind of low compared to some of the newer competitors out there, but still awesome. I will say though with that one, several of the stores we talked to said that sales of that have decreased a little bit since some new entrants into the market, and so that's something to note, but still a fantastic option regardless. Okay, let's get into the 3rd most popular gun, and I'm just going to kind of combine 2 of them, the Glock 43 and the Glock 43X. Now, obviously those are 2 different guns, and they can be evaluated differently, and I would say if I had to say one or the other, it's definitely the Glock 43X. That was in almost every single phone call. They said the Glock 43X sells like crazy. We can't get enough of those in either. The Glock 43, not as much, but still highly popular, and so that's something to take note and to remember that both of those are great. The Glock 43 is just a slightly shorter gun than the Glock 43X is a longer grip. And so one or the other, I would say the Glock 43X, and I would even say the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield is more popular than the Glock 43 from what they said. Okay, so let's get into the number 2 most popular gun, and that is the Springfield Hellcat. Now, this one hasn't been out that long. It's been less than a year or coming up on a year, I believe. I'll annotate down below if it's different, but it's been out for about a year. The reason that this one is so popular is because you can get 11+1 in the magazine, and man, it's an awesome gun. Now, we have a full review on this one. We will link it up there. We actually have a full review on the Glock 43, not the 43X, but the Glock 43. We'll put that up there as well right now. And anyway, getting back to the Springfield Hellcat, it's just an awesome gun. Now, I know there's people that have criticisms of it. They don't like it. It's too snappy. There's trigger problems, all that kind of stuff. But in the aggregate, when you look at everybody as a whole, it's great. And my experience personally with it was fantastic. We shot 300+ rounds through our gun, and it functioned flawlessly. It was nice to shoot. The grip's nice. The sights are good. It's not too snappy for me. It just felt good. And so there's a reason that it's this big seller. And quite honestly, when you get 11+1 in the chamber, or 11+1 in a gun, when you compare it to a Shield, Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, when you're only getting 7+1, geez, you're getting 4 more rounds in the Hellcat. That's significant, right? That's more than 50% more ammo from 7, right? And so it's just awesome. The trigger's great, everything about it. is just awesome. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. No gun is, but it's something, it's definitely one to take a look at if you never have. In my opinion, it's earned the number 2 spot. Right now, currently, they can't get enough of them in just because of the shortages that are going on. Eventually that will normalize and they'll be all over the place. Definitely check it out. So we've arrived. It is time to talk about the number 1 selling gun, and you've probably in your mind whittled it down. You know, it is the Sig Sauer P365. Now, this gun was mentioned in every single call, I believe, except 1, maybe 2. And one of the guys is actually really interesting because you could tell he had a huge bias, because he said, oh, I've sold maybe 1 in the last year, 2 years, whatever it was. It's like, really? Why? He's like, yeah, it's just not that popular. And then after that, he went on like a 2-minute rant about how there's no safeties in the gun and there needs to be a safety and blah, blah, blah. So clearly he's talking people out of the gun when I'm sure they come in interested. So there was some of that, but most people were just like, oh yeah, our top sellers are this, 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 this. Right? And so that was one of the only, I think, 2 calls that said they don't sell it very much. Every single other call was like, look, this gun sells so quickly that we can't even keep them on the shelves, especially right now. And so it's, again, it was one of the first ones. It was the first one to come in with this high capacity 10+1 in the chamber, where, you know, you're comparing again to the Shield, or let's say the Glock 43 in this case, they only hold 6. So again, you're carrying 4 more rounds in a gun that is almost exactly the same size. In fact, we have a comparison. I'll leave that up here as well. We have a comparison of the Glock 43 to the P365, where we put them side by side and actually got a caliper out and measured it. And the Sig in some dimensions is bigger, and in some dimensions smaller, but for the most part they are the exact same size, and you're getting 4 more rounds. You're getting more than 50% extra capacity in the P365 over the Glock. And so for that reason, obviously, that's one of the biggest reasons it's so popular. And the second reason, it's now that it's been fixed, it's reliable, it feels good in the hand, it's not extremely snappy, it's just controllable, the trigger's great, everything about it is just awesome. So since they fixed the problems, man, is it a good competitor to any of the other ones out there. And quite honestly, there's a reason it's the number 1. I think it deserves the spot. Obviously, the Hellcat's the number 1 contender there, and that's because it holds similar round count. But for the most part, the Sig, because it was first to the market and it's got such a big name, Sig, right, that it is the number 1. I think it'll continue to be the number 1 gun in the nation until somebody comes out with a gun that just somehow beats it in some way or another, or Glock comes out with some sort of competitor. Obviously, there's Glock 43X and stuff, but there are some differences there. And so there you have it, guys. Those are kind of the 4 main, most popular, whatever you want to call it, guns in the nation right now, and probably will continue to be that way. Obviously, the Shield has been popular for a long time. The Glock 43 has been popular for years, since 2016 or something when it came out. And then these other 2 in the last few years have taken that to another level. And so if you like this, guys, if you like videos like this, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know that. We will definitely continue to make these types of videos, do these types of calls. We had a lot of fun calling those companies and getting that information and really learning a lot about what actually is selling in the market, right? It's good to hear gun of the year by this company or by this group, gun of the year of that. But it's good to also hear, hey, we called these people and we learned, they told us these are our top selling guns. So anyway, if you like these videos, like, subscribe, like I said a second ago. We will see you next time. Thanks, guys.